Alrighty, folks, it's Tanya here, and I am very, very excited to go live with you this afternoon or evening, depending on where you are watching and listening from. So, I'm here to answer a question for you today. And that question for today is going to be, how can I create low cost graphics for my videos? And specifically, we're going to be talking about the Canva app because Canva has introduced something that's a new feature for them, and frankly, it wasn't that easy, or not that hard rather, for them to create it, but I think it's really cool that they were so thoughtful to open this thing up for all of us, especially for those of us who are in a quarantine situation, which is most of the world, and are starting to use more live. So I hope you'll say hello and leave a comment for me and let me know that you're here. I am live in my little studio, and I'll be coming back in just a couple of seconds. Hello, ma'am. It's good to see you, Miss Pat. And I am going to show my little intro video to give people a chance to come on, and then we'll come back in and tackle the Canva graphics tutorial. I'm going to share some things with you, some tips. And there's my buddy Amy. Amy and I are tight right now. We talk almost every day. And Emily, and just, oh my goodness, hello. I can't see you, Facebook user. If you're in my group and you haven't given Facebook permission to showcase your name or your photo, then it won't show. So make sure you just go to streamyard.com/Facebook, and then I can see who you are and acknowledge you personally. All right, I'll be right back. And then we're going to talk a little bit about Canva, and we'll share some tips on a few of the graphics you can use and create just for your video, for your live streams. All right, I'll see you in a second. All right, welcome, welcome, welcome. So I know we had a few more people that showed up. If you want to say hello, then let me acknowledge you. Say hello for me. Awesome, awesome. So I see a few anonymous users, but just know that I'm here with you. I'm in real life. This is real. If you've got questions, if there's anything that you want to know a little bit more about as we talk, then feel free to leave those in the comments so I can make sure to reply to you. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk a little bit about how you can create really low and no cost graphics for your video simply by using an app called Canva. So I've done several different classes over the years, as well as a lot of live streams about the Canva app. And specifically, what I wanted to share with you today is the introduction of a newer feature that Canva has introduced. But I'm also going to show you a couple of little quick hitter things that you can create that will work for your video that they've had in there. You just may or may not have known it was part of Canva. Before I do that, and someone's asking how to share your name. So to share your name, if you are looking in the body of the description for this video, depending on where you are, you want to just type in streamyard.com/Facebook. And then you'll give permission to show your name and your face. All right. But we're going to dive into these three, a little bit of a demo. I'm going to do kind of a light demo. So this will be a very short live stream tonight, but I want to try to just show you what's available, what it's capable of. And then I decided I'm probably going to go ahead and teach again. So I've set a new date for a webinar where I'll do a full 1 hour Ask Me Anything You Want About Canva tutorial. And we're going to focus in on creating, deeper dive into creating these graphics, as well as some other ones that I've some other tools that I've used to create things like thumbnails for video. So I hope that you will join me. Miss LaFern, that's my buddy right there. I love LaFern. All right. Okay. So let's dive in, and I'm going to do a quick demo for you, and I will show you my screen real quick here. And I also make sure that I share with you before we end the link to where you can sign up for the webinar and information on how to do that. All right. So this is Canva. And for those of you who have used Canva, you'll be somewhat familiar with this. It's CANV as in Victor A.com. And Canva is a graphic design tool that's been around for quite a while. I think I signed up for it early, like when they first started. And so being an early adopter, I've seen a lot of the transition, the transformation of what this app is able to do. And I'm just thrilled that they keep adding new features that are simple to use and they keep making it just more affordable for us to create and design graphics. And I'll share this with you that when I first started more than 10 years ago, working with entrepreneurs and helping them to build their brand online, usually, or back then, I had to refer them usually to a graphic designer. Excuse me, and the graphic designer could cost them anywhere from 500 bucks to, on up, depending on what they were looking for. And so the fact that Canva and other apps similar to Canva have establish themselves in the business community as go-to platforms is really, really wonderful. This is a great time for us to be service providers, for us to be able to build our brand without breaking the bank, especially when you're new and you're just starting out. You're looking for really affordable, cost-effective ways to do that. And so I still do believe in hiring designers, good designers, when it makes sense. I'll say that. But I will also say you should take advantage of and you should become familiar with or have your team member become familiar with some of the apps like Canva that are out there because they really do offer just a plethora. I've always loved that word. A plethora, an abundance of options for you when it comes to creating design. So in Canva, what you're going to see, and let me blow it up a little bit so you can see that, you're going to find that there are various design templates, and that's where we're going to go. But I'm also going to show you, I'll demonstrate a couple of different things that I've created. So I'm going to walk you through 3 different types of video assets or video graphics that you can create, since that's what our focus is when we talk about getting noticed with video. Now, if you have a free version of Canva, you're not going to have all the different options that you can see on my screen. So my screen, for instance, has a brand kit. And in my brand kit, depending on what I'm designing, I have my logos that have been added so I can automatically pull them into anything that I'm designing. I have my palette, my color palette, and I use kind of like a raspberry color palette. There's certain branded fonts that I can upload. Even if they don't have them in their library, I can customize and make sure that everything is suited to my personal brand for my business. So that is one of the benefits, in my opinion, to having the upgrade, to having the Canva Pro version, which is a paid version. But you can certainly do a lot even with the free version of Canva. So where I want us to go is into templates, because this is where I want to kind of showcase for you the 3 different options that you can create right here inside of Canva. So the first one, they kind of popped it up, but I'm going to save it for last. The first one is not going to be Zoom virtual backgrounds, but that is the announcement. That's the thing that they came out with within the past week or so. And a lot of you were sharing and resharing the post that I had put out there about the Zoom virtual backgrounds, because many people, yes, Renee, I love it too. Many people have been using Zoom, whether or not you use Zoom previously for your meetings and your conference calls and your one-on-ones, working with clients, etc. Even if you were using it before, what you've seen is this explosion of people who are looking for virtual conferencing options. And I think what I probably need to do next time is to talk about some additional virtual conferencing options, because there are a lot out there. And I want you to kind of think about strategically what makes the most sense for you and for your business. But Zoom it's highly popular right now. I said I wasn't going to go into this one first, but hey, might as well because it popped up first. So Zoom virtual backgrounds. The thing about this is that they have created for you some available backgrounds that are in the right dimension, so the right size is necessary when you're creating a background that you're going to plug into Zoom. Now, for purposes of this short live stream we're doing at the moment, I'm not going to talk about how you actually use these backgrounds with a green screen or without one, but you have the option of using one with a green screen or with no green screen at all. And if, as a matter of fact, I did share earlier today that I recorded a webinar where I talked about some of the hidden secrets behind how to use Zoom. So if you are interested and you need access to that, let me just type it in here so that you have it. If you need access to that, I opened it up, the replay. I opened up again for anyone who may need it, because a lot of people need to know how to appropriately and effectively use Zoom. So let me go ahead and give you that link in case you want to sign up. It is free, so there is no fee for you to actually go see this replay. But getnoticedwithvideo.com/Zoom webinar is where you can go sign up and get access to the replay. What we did was a live training session, and I think it lasted for about an hour, maybe an hour and 20 minutes or so. But it will give you the ins and outs of how you can actually use the green screen and some other tips around using Zoom. That is my gift to all of you, because again, I know a lot of us are trying to find creative ways to be able to be visible and to connect. Okay, so let's talk about the virtual background. So basically, if you go into templates is where you're going to find it. And apparently it's really prominent right now. I didn't expect it to pop up first, but let's go ahead and go in and see all. And I'm going to check and see if I have some questions. All right, awesome. Hey, Michelle, good to see you, ma'am. All right, Zoom virtual background templates. So when you go in here, what you're going to see is that they have a pretty good hodgepodge, right? So they have some that are actually animated photos or animated images, okay? So they give you kind of a little bit of a motion in the background. Some of these are standard. As a matter of fact, I used this one to the upper right. I used this one just the other day. I was testing it out to see how it looked, and it was beautiful quality. And I did use it with an actual green screen, but I used it actually here inside of StreamYard. So that's another tip for you in terms of using these backgrounds is you don't have to use them just for Zoom. You can use them for any other platform where you are streaming live or going on video and you have the green screen option. So you simply are going to upload these backgrounds because again, they're perfectly sized for that. Just pull them in to your app and you'll be able to use them. I kind of like this little waterfall flow. That's cool. I don't know that it's well branded for me and for what I talk about, but you want to think about that as you're choosing and selecting from the images is what really reaches out to you and could potentially help to complement your own brand when it comes to your business, right? So lots of fun little things in here. Again, avocados, not for me, but it's for somebody. I'm sure that could be fun. There's one right here with the space background that has some motion. And then this is probably more my style. I look for the more realistic types of images. And I will tell you this, that you have the opportunity to also change it up. So if you, for instance, look through this library and you're like, I'm not really sure that these are right for me. One of the things that I'll teach you how to do in my Canva webinar is how to recreate and to brand your own virtual background design. Okay. So I do like some of these. I think they're really neat. I like the fact that some of them are animated. Yeah, and the more realistic ones look like they would suit my brand better. But for some of you, there's just going to be a lot of fun stuff in here. So I've kind of scrolled through almost their entire library so that you can kind of get a feel for what's available. But there are so many different options. So I highly encourage you to spend a little time to go out to Canva and check out the Zoom virtual backgrounds option. All right, so that's our number one when it comes to video designs that you can create using Canva. And yes, LaFern, you also like the plain white background with the logo. I know, I know. I'm just kind of, when it comes to creating branded graphics, one of the things that I'm very conscious about, and again, this is for my brand, and you'll want to think about your brand, but I like things to be clean and I like them to be very clear cut and not distracting. So, one thing to think about as you are choosing from those backgrounds is while some of them may look really cool, the key is you do not want them to distract from you and from your message. So you'll kind of want to play with that and just experiment and see which ones really catch your eye, but also maybe get a little feedback from people that you trust. I always tell my clients this: get some feedback from people that you trust will be honest with you and just make sure that it's something that's going to complement your brand. Okay. Awesome. Marcia, I love that you're listening while taking a walk. I'm actually in the process now of converting many of my video blogs over into audio again because I kind of miss podcasting. So I'll be doing that very soon. All right. So let us look at the second thing, the second asset or brand design that I want to show you. When you go back to templates, so we'll just click and go back to templates. The second one I want to share with you is a video thumbnail. So one of my mentors who is a YouTube genius, Jeremy Vest, always beats it into his students and his clients that the thumbnail is the number one thing that makes or breaks your video, especially when it comes to YouTube. So it's so important to have a nice looking, clean and crisp thumbnail that's going to tell people exactly what it is your video is going to be about. Because as they're scanning through, especially YouTube, as they're scanning through, you want them to you want it to be something that's eye-catching, that catches their attention, that draws them into consuming the video content. So I would offer that there are some templates here. In fact, we'll just do this just for simplicity. Type in YouTube thumbnail. These thumbnails, by the way, are not only sized appropriately for YouTube, but also for Facebook Lives. And as a matter of fact, that's what I do is I just find graphics that are going to be the size that I need for a YouTube thumbnail, and I use them for my Facebook Live thumbnails. But when you come in here into YouTube thumbnails, you're going to see that they have some options here as well. So again, very nice, clean. They can be colored the way that you can put the color that you use for your brand. So you can put color that matches your particular brand, even if it has, for instance, this blue with this light pink, you can change that to your purple and gold or whatever your colors may be. You can change out the images and the photos and even the font in here. This is even without a paid account. So you'll have to, of course, be stuck with using the available fonts that they have, but they have such a variety that that's not a problem. But you'll definitely be able to find various thumbnails in here. And I'll show you kind of an example of one that I created a while back. Let's see, there's one right here. Really super simple. Let me pop it up and make it a little bit bigger so you can see. So look at that. Hey, Stacy. Here's my Stacy. All right, so get ready with me. So all I did with this one, it literally took me like seconds to do because I simply uploaded an image that I already had available, and I put it over one of their thumbnails. I think it was this one right here over to the left, their beauty YouTube thumbnail. I used this and just exchanged my picture and added the pink banners and had a little emoji that I added to it. But there's so many different things you can do with this. So thumbnails galore. They have a ton of them in here inside of Canva. Again, all you've got to do is kind of scroll through, choose a template, and then replace their graphics, their fonts, their words with your own. And then voila, you have your thumbnail. So we've talked about Zoom virtual backgrounds and thumbnails, and now it's time to move on to the third asset that you may not know you can create. And I don't know that they have a template for this. So I'm going to switch back over here. Let's type in lower third. Okay, I don't see it, but you can create it. So now if you don't know what a lower third is, I'm going to show you by switching back over to my screen without the screen share. Notice where there is a Tanya Smith logo at the bottom, and then I have Get Noticed with Video at the very top of my screen. This is a lower third. The one that's on the bottom, the lower third is where my name is. And so when you're using live stream video or again, any other type of video, and your purpose or your intention is for people to know who you are, or you want to put your title. Maybe you want to put, I'm John Doe, you know, incredible, uh, I don't know, real estate professional, right? If you wanted to put that in your banner, it's called a lower third. But here's the thing, what you do when you create these is you actually make the background, like the background that's taken at my face right now. I want you to see my face and see me talking, not see the image itself. So you have to remove and make your background transparent. So that's another thing that I'm going to talk about is in that Canva webinar that I'll do coming up in a few weeks. I'll teach you how to actually create one, but I'll show you right now what it actually looks like on screen inside of my Canva. So let's see if we can pull it back over there. All right, so this is the exact lower third that I am showing on my screen as we speak. This is what I've uploaded into StreamYard to use and see how it's consistent with my branding. And part of the reason why I did this is because, as I mentioned earlier, it's important to me because I have been in branding for a long time. For the bulk of my marketing career, branding has been, I think, at the core of everything for me. So it's important to make sure that you don't have just the simplistic looking, hey, it's me, or your name and its fonts that are not necessarily representing you. Even if you can change the colors in StreamYard, I didn't think that it necessarily reflected the way that I have all of my different styles when it comes to my design. So I created a lower third inside of Canva, which you have the ability to do. And even though they don't have a template to show you how to do this, it's really easy to create one. So those are the types of things that we're going to talk about in the Canva webinar. And I do have a question, so let's see. Do you recommend using the same thumbnails for consistency or to stay in the same colors? Rachel, it's wonderful to see you, first of all. So I think that that is an excellent question. And it's one where I would say I've seen people who have been successful doing both, meaning that I've seen people that have taken the same thumbnail and what they do is they switch up the title because they just love the graphic, right? They loved that it had the exact colors. They just kept the font consistent, and all they did is change the title for all of their thumbnails. And actually, that can work from a visual perspective when someone's looking at like your YouTube channel. Okay. If you look at my Facebook live channel, if you are in facebook.com/Tanya Smith online and you go to videos, you'll see that I have pretty much for the most part branded and thumbnailed almost all of my videos, and they are pretty consistent, but slightly different. So I would say for those who choose to do the same exact thumbnail with different fonts, check and see if it will work for you because it can look really nice. Now, personally, for me, I wanted to have some variety and I wanted it to really reflect my personality. So I have different poses where my face is looking a different way, where I'm sipping on coffee, where I'm, kind of laughing or I'm on the computer, which is me most of the time. I like having the variety. And so I have similarity in terms of the font and colors. The wording, of course, is going to change depending on the title. But I also change up my background and I change the image that shows my face. So I think you can experiment with it. I don't think there's a wrong answer. I would suggest, Rachel, to your question, that having similar colors for your brand throughout all of your content is a good idea. Now, why? Is it because I'm just an type A personality? No, although I probably am. But it is because what happens when you have consistency in your branding and in your imagery, what happens when you do that is that people begin to trust you. They begin to rely on you. They recognize, oh my goodness, I see. And sometimes it's just a subconscious thing that they see, for instance, my little rose cranberry or raspberry color. They see that color, they see those fonts, and they instantly think of me because it's been consistent throughout my branding. So that's one of the things I definitely try to teach people is as much as you can try to brand or be consistent with all of your content, with anything that's visual, because it just gives you that next level um, of creating that engagement and that connection with people, so they recognize you wherever they see you. Thanks for the Canva tips the other day. I totally had not been using Canva. You're so welcome. Yes, yes, yes. And we have more. We got more tips. I taught a class yet last year on Canva that seemed to be pretty popular. And so I was thinking today, why haven't I been doing more webinars? I should go ahead and do another webinar. So I'm going to do another webinar. We're going to get that on the table. And here's what I'm going to do real quick before we get ready to wrap. And if you do have questions, please leave them here. Now, for those of you who are on Periscope or watching on YouTube, I can see your comments too. So don't forget that you can put your comments in. And if you got questions and I don't see them right now, I'll come back and look through them later and make sure to respond to you. Also on Twitch, my folks that are on Twitch, if you've got comments or questions, I'm looking for you. All right, so here we go. This is the actual I've got it rolling across the screen. I'll keep it rolling throughout until we get ready to end. Getnoticewithvideo.com/Canva webinar. Now, this one is a $10 fee. So it does cost $10. I know you're like, oh my God, can't you give us this stuff free? I know. I always do, right? So $10. It's not that much, but it's going to be a lot of personal attention. So, whoever shows up on this call, I'm excited to work with you and to give you some tips on your own personal situation. So, however you're wanting to use Canva, I'm also, even though it's not going to say this on the page, going to give you my two secret weapons. So, there's two other tools that I use. I don't just use Canva, although it's my go to. There are two other tools that I use as well to create thumbnails that have been super helpful for me to stand out, because I didn't want all of my stuff to look like it all came from the same place, because then everybody would have the same look, right? I wanted some things to be a little bit more unique. So for those of you who do show up for the Canva webinar, it's going to be on a Saturday morning, because why not? We're all in the house anyway. So Saturday morning, not this Saturday, but I think I put it for the Saturday after. But that'll give you some time to go ahead and get it on your calendar so you can jump in. And yes, LaFern, it is well worth it, and it's $10. So come on. There's my Candace. Hi. And Stacy's going to be there. Yes, ma'am. So I'm looking forward to it. The real secret is, how do you always have such beautiful skin? Smile. I love you too. Here's the thing. Let me say this for all of you ladies out there. I will tell you, no, it's not 6 a.m. Oh, it might be. Maybe I can move that, Renee. I didn't think about that. So Pacific time. Why don't we move it an hour later? We'll move it an hour later. Will that give you a chance to wake up, Renee? I am an early bird. I really am. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so right after we get off of this, I'm going to move it to an hour later so that Renee can get her coffee and come. Okay. And I'm going to spend that entire time with you answering whatever questions you have and sharing just about everything I can tell you when it comes to Canva and designing, and we'll create some. So this is going to be a working session. So what I want you to do is to, yes, ma'am. She said, change it for us, Cali babes. Yeah, I will do that, Renee. So an hour later, so even if you go and register right now, just know immediately after we hang up here, I'll go in and change it to an hour later. I will make sure that you have everything you need. It's going to be a working session. So what I want you to do before you jump in, and I need to add this there too, is make sure you have a Canva account. Even if you have a free account, no need to upgrade. Just get a Canva account to make sure that you are able to go in and work on yours as I'm showing you and walking you through the steps. All righty. Awesome sauce. Going to sign up now. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you so much for joining in. Man, there's a lot of really cool comments in here. Just a quick hello, Victoria. I'm looking forward to working with all of you, and we'll do that, like I said, in a couple weeks. So the correct date is on there, but I will move the hour a little bit later so we can get our Cali babes in there too. Here's what I was going to say for all my ladies. Look, I know we're in this whole quarantine and, shut down situation. And so when it comes to the cosmetics, because I'm telling you, when somebody asked the other day, what's the first thing you're going to do when this thing lets up? My first thing was nails, hair, like all the stuff that I feel like we're missing. Like I'm aging before the camera's eyes, lashes, all of that. But don't let that hold you back from doing live. That's what I wanted to say. Because, that's my goal is to try to get more people doing live streams that are going to help you to be more visible and engage and connect with the people who are the ideal audience, the perfect audience for you. And I think video can help you do that. So even if you feel a little nervous because things are not perfectly where you want them to be, one of the secrets is your lighting. So make sure your lighting makes you look the way you want it to. And do your best with your hair. I've already decided, depending on how long this thing goes on, you might see me in a baseball cap with some bling on it. That might be the next thing. All right, y'all. I'm excited too, Candace. Yay. Hey, girl. I'm excited too. So I hope that you will come on and join me. And again, I have it scrolling across the screen for those of you that want to sign up. All right. I think this is a wrap because we're at the top of the hour. But thank you so much for watching. Bring all your questions when you sign up for the Canva webinar, and we will walk through how to create some social media content and specifically for your video. But you'll probably have some other questions too, which I am more than happy to answer. I will see you over there. I did a live, I love this, live raggedy as heck last week, but they got my message. I love it. I love it. Exactly. Because it's all about the message. I might need a week. I know I have this whole store full. I've got like a library full of wigs. So if y'all see me bust one of those out, you know it's bad. You know it's all over, right? Because I'm not going to try to cut my own hair. That's just not happening. All right, y'all. Have a wonderful rest of the evening and the rest of the week. And then we'll be back on next week. Now, here's something I'm going to give you a preview for next week because I'm still diving into this. But remember, I mentioned I think I need to talk about virtual platforms and options for you. I did find out that Restream has created a new studio. Like I literally just before we got on here, my mouth was open because I opened the email from them and went, "What?" So Restream IO has a new studio feature that we're going to have to check out. So I'll be experimenting with that so I can talk to you about it and share my thoughts. You have a wonderful evening too. And there's my buddy Anthony. All right, y'all. Have a good night and we'll talk next week.